disabled with a disabled placard. Did you notice he was waving out the window of the car for a moment there, Desmond, rather wildly? Don't know if he's talking to himself or trying to motion to police officers. And there was a moment, was that in Irwindale, where he actually stopped, Des? Oh, look at this.
Yeah, well, look at this.
Here comes the maneuver.
Were they going to attempt a pit? Yeah, boy,
run him
it
off
sure
the
looked
road?
like it, didn't it? I mean, it's an extreme rarity to see a pit maneuver on the road, but it sure looked like that's what Fontana was setting up for. I've only ever seen it one other time in my life at freeway speeds. That was on the 110, and I actually remember afterwards that it didn't even stop that pursuit, and I think LAPD had caught some flack for attempting that pit maneuver. So it's very, very rare that you see that. But we're talking about Fontana PD, and if they're just really, really wanting to bring this one to a conclusion, it seems like everything that we hear about, that these speeds are just, well, right now we're at about 45 miles an hour, but the fact that we're on a freeway makes it, really precarious to do this. Although there's not a lot of people around. Of course, I say that, and here comes, an innocent motorist, but driving on the shoulder, back into lane, so zigging and zagging all over the place. How much longer can this bumper hold on? And then, you're thinking that, Fontana's risking going over that bumper, although, it's an SUV. It's not likely to do any damage to the police vehicle if that bumper. Ooh,
whoa, look at that.
Really pulling a maneuver there and going over the divider and now onto surface streets, and almost ditched Fontana PD, but they got it at the last second. And look at, they're still on this one like a hawk.
They are intimidating.
Oh, wow. Wow. He tried that pit maneuver, couldn't quite do it. It seems that I think this driver knows what's up. I think he knows how much Fontana wants to bring this to an end. And look at, they're whipping around that corner again, and that bumper is still hanging on. It's incredible. Okay, so we're on these ramps that kind of go around in circles here. We're in the Rosemead area, and this is going to be Rosemead Boulevard. So you see him kind of looping all over the place. And wow,
now
right in between
dangerous.
Those two cars, pulling another stop sign. Yeah, now we're really looking at a dangerous situation here, and with this suspect and Fontana PD, as we're southbound on Rosemead Boulevard, which this section of Rosemead is kind of an expressway and might be an opportunity for him to really let these speeds go. If he, we know he's not afraid to run red lights, Pat.
We saw that. It's interesting. Well, Fontana, they're still right on him, though. I was suspecting that they possibly would pull back, Desmond, as it got a little more dangerous. They have a little bit, as we can see.
I mean, you saw him looking, pretty aggressive there for a second, and then we'll see if they back off. If maybe this officer. I mean, this is going to be getting really intense for these units that are in pursuit. I mean, they have eyes from the air as well. So if they want to back off at any point, they actually have their helicopter overhead. Fontana Police, I believe my pilot Austin said it's Eagle 1 is the name of that helicopter out of Fontana. I haven't seen any other helicopters overhead providing their assistance, but now we're trending. We'll see if we're going to be getting back on the freeway here. We're paralleling the 10 freeway, headed eastbound, just going through every stop sign, high speeds. Really saw some crazy maneuvers there back in Rosemead. And, unfortunately, a lot of times this is what we see as the police try to bring this to an end with a pit maneuver. These suspects get really agitated, and they start driving really crazy. And at one point, we just wonder how much longer this can go on.
Well, Fontana looks like they want to bring it to an end. I mean, just the fact that they have really been sticking with this vehicle and attempting pit maneuvers, or certainly making this driver think that, yeah, we're going to do this, even though it's usually like 30 miles per hour. They don't like you to do a pit maneuver over that speed, but they are not backing up and really not letting up, even though you said they do have eyes from the air. They are right on this vehicle. And this guy, at one point, we saw him waving or showing that he was agitated. He had his arm out of the window. Here we go, Desmond.
Oh, yeah.
Is it trying it again?
See it again. Yeah, it sure looked like it. Every time that they try, we see this guy smash on the gas pedal and get out of it, and really, endangering a lot of people at this point. Oh, getting into a parking lot here. Looks like a gas station parking lot, and getting right back through it. And I believe that was, whoa. Really near collision there with that officer. There goes the bumper. The bumper's finally had enough. That bumper put up a heck of a fight there, but that bumper finally said, I've had enough, and fell off. So at least we don't have to worry about that. endangering anybody on any of the roadways there. There was no traffic, so now he's free of the bumper. I don't know that was really basically affecting the way that he was maneuvering. We saw him zigging and zagging all over the place. This car is actually maybe a little bit more maneuverable than I would have given it credit for. Don't know too much about the Kia Soul, but one of the lower profile SUVs. If it was one of the taller ones, might have had some trouble on some of the turns that we saw earlier as fast as this guy was going. But this Soul is really, so far, doing unfortunately a really good job of evading the authorities. And you can still see something hanging out there, maybe part of the bumper that got separated there. And it makes me wonder, Pat, just based on what we've been seeing of Fontana looking like they're trying to do a pit maneuver, if that was what caused that bumper to get ripped off, was some kind of a pit earlier in the pursuit.
That's right. Certainly could have been. And I think you may have mentioned this, Desmond, but I just want to reiterate that, he's got the windshield wipers going. Pardon me, but possibly he called 911 and said that he had been on the run for a while, so I'm sure officers are knowing they're not dealing with the usual pursuit suspect here. And I don't know if that really means anything, the usual pursuit suspect, but I don't know if I've heard of anybody calling 911 and say, hey, I'm out here and I've been out here for a while. Now he seems to be driving, he's slowing down, but we've seen him stop before and just sit there. And then when police, I believe when they tried to exit the vehicle, he just took off again. So don't know exactly what kind of maneuver this is, Desmond, and wonder why wouldn't police wouldn't they just put him now?
Yeah, it's a good question. There wasn't any traffic right there at that intersection. From an outside observer, it certainly looked like a good opportunity to attempt a pit. I mean, based on what we were seeing earlier, if on another pit attempt, and how frankly the other attempt the one that they tried earlier seemed a little bit serious to me than this. But now that's really strange. He's trying to go ahead, and the officer almost got in a collision there as this guy just cut traffic off. Not sure. It looked like he was trying to make a wide turn with the suspect, and maybe he was going to make another attempt there. But
I thought so too.
Yeah, and you referenced that what we had heard earlier about this person calling 911. Have no idea what that was all about or why they were calling.
The Main Street area here by the 10 freeway in the El Monte area, kind of working our way into Rosemead as well, depending on which direction this goes, kind of hugging that border. But the suspect just seems content to cruise their way through town here, and doesn't seem like they are going to want to stop for those officers anytime soon. But those officers from the Fontana Police Department saying, hey, we started this pursuit with you. You have a stolen vehicle, and we're going to stick with you until you're under arrest and that vehicle is returned to its original owner. That's the goal at the end of this, is for it to end peacefully and for suspect to be in custody and for that vehicle to go back to where it belongs. And so we're just continuing to the west now, coming back up on about, let's say, Lexington here, one of the majors in the area, and just working our way out of that downtown now. It seems like that suspect is just kind of content to stop here at this, it looks like a traffic light here, holding back quite a bit. It probably won't initiate that traffic light to do anything just due to the distance from those sensors, but we'll see what happens as this continues rolling up a little bit, and we'll see what happens as this continues here on these surface streets. But still, even though these are slow speeds, it's a very dangerous situation on the ground because you never know how these are going to end, Micah. That's right. And that's one of the tactics that these officers can decide to use from time to time is to turn off those lights and sirens and kind of take it a little more slowly and discreetly so that it doesn't bring attention or it doesn't cause other drivers to, kind of not know what to do in the situation. So that may be what's happening here. But it's been stopped here at this kind of light for some time, to the point where other vehicles have actually come and stopped and opened up their doors and ran out to try to document this on themselves. Very dangerous situation, because if this is the termination of the pursuit, if this is where the officers are going to take this suspect into custody, not only do they have to worry about the suspect and what's happening in that vehicle, but now they have to worry about protecting those individuals that are standing on the side. Like this person right up here near the sidewalk, they are technically in the line of fire. If the officers kind of set up their line and begin their stance to their termination to bring this to an end, and it looks like that's what they're going to try to start to do. And it looks like this officer is going to come up and turn around and actually box this vehicle in. So a different strategy here, but they're bringing this to an end. There we go, another kind of aggressive approach by Fontana Police Department, but they are ready to bring this to an end. They said, this is enough, you've been stopped here, and we're going to come in and bring this to an end. And it looks like they are taking this suspect into custody, and it might be a female driver. It's hard to say from all the way up here in Sky 5, but it looks like they are going to clear that vehicle. That driver has now been detained, taken into custody here on Main Street, right about Santa Anita, and a successful end to this pursuit that's been going on for nearly or possibly over an hour, starting all the way in Fontana, ending here in El Monte, Micah.